Lionel Messi carried the hopes of an entire nation. Lost finals, criticism, and heartbreak made many believe he would never win the World Cup. But in 2022, everything changed. Good morning, guys, and welcome to Flop Files. Let's dive into this explainer. We're going to detail exactly how Argentina went from a fragile team, absolutely paralyzed by the ghost of 1986, to a synchronized unit of world champions. To really grasp the sheer magnitude of this triumph, you've got to feel the unbearable emotional burden placed on Messi's shoulders. You see, after Diego Maradona's heroic victory back in '86, the national dialogue in Argentina just broke. Instead of asking how to build a winning team, the whole country obsessively searched for a singular, divine savior. So when a young Messi arrived on the scene, the public didn't just hope for greatness. No, they demanded miracles. They genuinely believed that he alone could, and absolutely should, carry the entire weight of a nation desperate for glory. And that immense, suffocating pressure, it forged a deep psychological trauma, building this relentless, compounding narrative of failure. I mean, it felt like an actual curse. In 2014, they were agonizingly close to the World Cup, only to be shattered by a late German goal. Then came the ultimate cruelty, back-to-back penalty shootout losses to Chile in the 2015 and 2016 Copa America finals. The heartbreak was so severe, it actually forced Messi into a brief international retirement. By the time 2018 rolled around, an aging, profoundly disorganized Argentine squad suffered a chaotic, humiliating exit against France. They were just crushed under the weight of their own history. Part 1. The Catalyst, the Unlikely Architect. Out of that devastating 2018 exit came a turning point literally nobody saw coming. The Federation appointed Lionel Scaloni. Now, at the time, he was widely dismissed by the media as just an unproven temporary placeholder. He only had 6 matches of experience coaching the under-20 squad. But Scaloni? He wasn't interested in the media noise. He wanted to rebuild the engine from scratch. He immediately dismantled the team's vulnerable architecture. The old system was this toxic hub-and-spoke model. Just imagine Messi standing alone, heavily marked, while his teammates essentially stood around waiting for him to do something magical. Opponents knew if you shut down one man, the whole attack stalled. Scaloni ruthlessly replaced those emotional expectations with practical, functional structures. He built a distributed network, prioritizing shared responsibility. Players grouped together for quick vertical combinations, making absolutely sure Messi was never isolated again. Part 2. A tactical revolution. The data. So Scaloni's first masterstroke was structural compactness. Defense was no longer about just sitting back and absorbing pressure. It became the very first aggressive step of their attack. They established a relentless high press zone, aiming to violently recover the ball in advanced areas of the pitch. By suffocating the opposition high up the field, they could instantly disrupt the opponent's buildup and transition into dangerous scoring opportunities before the defense could even blink. But here's the thing. This wasn't just mindless running. It was a highly calculated hybrid system. Their pressing intensity systematically peaked during the first 15 minutes of each half. And there's a deep psychological and physical reason for this. By coming out of the tunnel and immediately overwhelming opponents with a tidal wave of coordinated pressure, they dictated the entire rhythm of the match. They prioritized compactness over strict individual marking, knowing exactly when to squeeze the pitch to choke out the opposition and when to drop back and protect the space. The result of this ruthless system? Completely lethal. 31.58%. Almost a third of Argentina's total shots in the World Cup came within just 18.4 seconds of winning the ball back via high pressure. Think about that. It was no longer a slow, predictable build-up hoping for a spark of individual brilliance. It was an instant, punishing counterstrike that left opposing defenses totally paralyzed. Part 3. Messi's new dimension. This highly structured environment did something genuinely magical. It unlocked a 35-year-old Lionel Messi. By surrounding him with a network of energetic, younger players who fiercely protected him and shared the load, Messi transformed. He evolved from a burdened idol into an active, thoroughly supported leader. His teammates effectively tore down the poster of the untouchable savior and integrated him right into the trenches. We can actually quantify the sheer danger of these build-up sequences even before a shot is taken, using the expected threat, or XT metric. Zones closer to the opposition goal naturally carry a higher threat level, and the team's overall fluidity became incredibly dangerous. When Messi actively dropped deep into the midfield to participate in the build-up, rather than just hovering near the penalty box, the team's expected threat increased by a massive 17%. He wasn't just waiting up top for a miracle pass anymore. He was engineering the entire flow of the game, dictating the tempo and orchestrating attacks from deeper, way more unpredictable positions. If you're enjoying this story, subscribe to Flop Files and share this video with a football fan.
Part 4. The Ultimate Test.
Okay, so the flawless system was built, and they arrived in Qatar riding a historic 36-match unbeaten streak. And then, the ultimate test struck immediately. In their opening match, Saudi Arabia delivered a staggering 2-1 upset. It was a profound crisis that threatened to collapse their carefully built foundation right then and there. Past iterations of this team would have completely spiraled into panic and infighting, but instead, the dressing room remained remarkably calm. They completely trusted Scaloni's structure. They maintained a high rate of precise ball movements, even under direct pressure, adjusting formations match by match and methodically playing through the anxiety to dismantle Mexico, Poland, the Netherlands, and Croatia. And all of this culminated in the most dramatic final against France. For 80 minutes, Argentina executed perfectly, building a dominant 2-goal lead. It looked like a serene march to destiny. But then, absolute chaos. Kylian Mbappé scored twice in under 2 minutes, erasing the entire lead in a brutal flash. You could literally feel the collective gasp of a nation terrified that the agonizing curse of the past had returned. Historically, a sudden, brutal momentum shift like this would have triggered a total mental collapse for Argentina. But this synchronized unit held firm. They absorbed the colossal shock, trusted the system implicitly, and when it came down to the wire, Emiliano Martinez delivered in the penalty shootout. They finally won because they stopped waiting for a ghost from 1986.
Part 5. Turmoil ahead of 2026.
It was a picture-perfect redemption story for a fan base that desperately needed one. But right now, we have to pivot sharply because incredibly dark clouds are currently gathering over their 2026 title defense. While the team finally found absolute unity on the pitch, a stunning federal inquiry has just been launched into the Argentine Football Association and its top officials off the pitch. It's a stark, jarring contrast to the beautiful harmony we just talked about, hitting a fan base that's still riding the emotional high of Qatar.
The specific details of this unfolding scandal are genuinely staggering. The ongoing inquiry directly targets Federation Chief Claudio Tapia and his treasurer. The surreal allegations include officials literally burying bags of money. Authorities investigating the matter discovered a massive 1.1 million square foot compound featuring its own heliport and 8 full-sized football pitches. During the raids, they seized 54 luxury vehicles, including a $500,000 Ferrari F430. The sheer absurdity of these findings anchors a very real threat, potentially dragging the Federation right back into the disastrous administrative chaos of the past.
So we are left with a massive, looming question. Will this off-pitch chaos undo Scaloni's tactical masterpiece ahead of 2026? Will this bizarre new scandal unravel their historic, hard-fought redemption story? Argentina's story proves that failure is not the end. Sometimes the greatest victories come after the deepest heartbreak. For Messi and Argentina, the World Cup was more than a trophy. It was redemption. Thanks for watching Flop Files.